Hello students, hope you all are doing well. So let us discuss memorandum. Today we are going to discuss memorandum and format of memorandum and types of memorandum, right? So let us see. First, introduction. There are many forms of communication for business purpose. These vary depending on the types of communication, formal or informal communication, or in other words, there are two types of communication, formal and informal communication. Memos are the most popular form of internal communication. Please take care. In a written format maintaining, so that is important, that is internal communication and in a written format, right? Maintaining the confidentiality of the business. Please take care. Memos means that's a internal communication in a written format and maintaining confidentiality, right? So that is for confidential communication purpose. Is confidential communication is done within organization, and that communication, one of the forms of communication is memos. Okay, now, or memorandum, it's a full form is memorandum, right? What is memo in business communication? A memo is an abbreviation for memorandum. It serves the purpose of delivering the information. Means first is that's a delivering the information to mass of people, or to mass means to everyone, to many, right? So that is mass, and it is written from the perspective of one to all. That's a written communication, and what the perspective is, one to all means for everyone. Suppose one message is to be conveyed to watchmen, to top, everyone should know any program, any something, so that is information for mass, means for everyone. And another thing of memo, that is written form and with the perspective of one to all, means for everyone, right? Now, memos notes normally include the interests of business, right? So that is generally written for interest of business. We can use a memo to explain any upcoming task or event, right? So memo is written for upcoming task or event, for explain or for intimate upcoming task or event as a reminder, right? So that is written as a reminder, or in other words we can say memo is written for reminder, reminder for upcoming task or event. So memo is a reminder, right? Now, highlighting the event and for many other purposes. Secondly, memo highlights the event and for many other purposes. Sometime we want to highlight event, right? Then we write memo, and similar purposes we use memo, right? However, memos hardly include a call to action elements, right? So that memo does not include a call to action elements, right? So that is not action elements are not mentioned in memo. It is the ideal document that helps in addressing several people formally, which is important. What is several people formally? So which is used for several people formally. So several people are intimated, but that's a formal information. Okay, now, memorandum format. What is memorandum format? Every part of memorandum format has a justifiable reason. Always write the memo in a professional format. Please take care. It is always written in the professional format. It should include required details, right? And what is important? It should include required details and no unnecessarily important, very important, no unnecessary information, right? The format and details to be included while writing a memorandum are as follows, right? So what's the format? We are going to discuss from here. What's the format in details to be included, we will see. But what is important here, it's a professional format, right? Memo is always professional, for written in the professional way, right? And second thing, that all required information are included. Number 2. Number 3, no unnecessary information is mentioned or information is given. Very serious, written and professional, for professional communication is memo, right? Okay. Now, so what the format, as we have seen that, what the format and details to be included while the memorandum are as follows. What are they? They are heading. Heading, after writing the information that is added in the header format, memo is written before starting with the body and adding content. So after writing the information that is added in the header format, memo, right? So upper one, top heading is memo, is written before starting with the body and adding content. So that's heading is memo, right? Now recipient, next the address of the recipient is added. Whom to address, who is the address, we are addressing to whom, that is we have to mention, for example, employees of the marketing department, or faculty from the department of commerce, something like this, right? So these are the recipient, because this memorandum is sent to department of humanities, department of management, department of commerce, somewhere. So here that's a faculty of the department of commerce, this way. So this can be these are the recipient. Now writer, here the name of the person writing the memo is added. So his name will be added, as for example, my name Dr. Swati Singh, right? So that's the writer's name will be added, right? Okay. Now fourth is, that is additional receipts. These people receive the memo just like others. However, the memo does not address them. These can be members of the managing committee who need to keep track, or any other people. They are just a part of loop. Part of loop means part of the activity, right? So what, here we have seen that, here we have seen that writer, sorry, address of the recipient is added, है ना? So a recipient address, for example, I gave you example of department of humanities, right? But here additional receipts, who are the additional receipts? So that's a, these people receive the memo just like others. Means department of humanities, the memo is served to department of humanities, but suppose department of commerce also may receive the memo. The however, the memo does not address them directly, which is exclusively served for department of humanities. But suppose department of commerce also inform, so these can be members of managing committee who need to keep track, or any other people, right? But then suppose department of, some of the members of commerce may be directly or indirectly attached with the department of management. For example, very good example I'm giving you. Suppose one memo is served to department of humanities, and humanities faculty used to teach in commerce, management, computer science, science department, everywhere goes. Who go everywhere? Hindi teachers and English teachers. So this way, they are also part of different department, though they belong to Department of Humanities, but they are attached, or they go to another department to teach Hindi or English. And suppose one memorandum is served to Department of Humanities, but the Department of Commerce, but here Department of Humanities is also intimated or informed. Why? Because members come to commerce also. So this way, that is additional receipts, right? Now, date, it is an integral part of every formal document, and so it is necessary for writing memo. Date is very common, and date is the necessary part of every formal or informal document. Now, subject line, this provides an outline of what the memo is about, is in just a line or two, right? So in one or two line we have to write the intention, purpose of the memo, so that is called subject line. And this allows the reader to know the context that the memo is referring to, why this memo is served, right? For example, subject, induction seminar for the recruits of the company. So this is the top line. This way we know that induction seminar is going to be conducted for the recruiters or recruitment of the company, this way. So that is, intention or purpose should be clear in the subject line. Now, body is very important, very soul of the memo. Here we get all the information. It contains when, what, where, why, and answers to all these questions, right? So when it happens, what happened, when suppose one event is going to be done, that's in a future, right, scheduled. So then when, what is the schedule time, right? What, and what kind of event is going to be done, and then where, so what's the venue, right? And why, what's the purpose, right? For example, coming event, what is coming here, Diwali is far away, but then Janmashtami, Krishna Janmashtami. So then, suppose there is an event for the Janmashtami. So then, and memo means information is given to all departments. So here, that is when, so that it is going to be done on Saturday, because Monday is Janmashtami, for example, and Sunday is holiday. So it is being anticipated. So then when, so we have to tell the time, what, so that's what is going to be celebrated, Janmashtami, of course. Where, so at auditorium, right? And why? Because this is a Indian festival, something this way. Now this will help in providing all the information readers need to know, readers need to know in a concise, professional, and well structured format. Very important. This will help in providing all the information readers need to know, so that readers should know that when, why, all WH questions answer in a concise, professional, and well structured format. But that's lose the statement and lose structure should not be. It's very tight and crispy expression must be there. But yes, that is important. It is necessary to convey all the information with precision and clarity. So in each and every facts should be delivered, should be mentioned in memo, and clarity must be there. No ambiguous sentences should be avoided, right? And should not be used. Now try ending the body with a positive note, and then whatever the message, but we should sum up the memorandum with a positive note. So that is body. Now last one is proof, read and editing. So then it is done. Now proofreading. and editing. So the final and most important step is to proofreading the content before sending it out. Suppose we are emailing, suppose whatever we are drafting, we should always do this step, that proofreading, and then proofreading the content, and then we should send, right? So which is very important. We should be in practice, whatever even simple message we draft in WhatsApp and normal message SMS, then we should write, and we should read it again and again, editing suppose and proofreading, then only we should send. Okay, now ensure that it does not contain any minor issues either, and then in proofreading we should take care that no minor issues should be mentioned in the memo, right? Okay, now effective tips for memo writing. So that is the part, different parts we have seen here. That's a first is heading, then a recipient, then a writer, then additional receipts, and then date, subject line, body and proof, body and proofread and editing. Okay, there is a mistake actually, 7 number 7 and this one 8. Okay, now next is effective tips for memo writing, how we can write effective memo or memorandum. Here is a list of the tips. Okay, first is that the orientation of the audience. While drafting a memo, it is essential to understand the audience well or readers well. We should know that who we are going to serve memo. Try to offer a clear and concise memo without any ambiguities, and then we should be very much clear, concise, without ambiguity. All like sentences, sentence structure, vocabulary should be used and should be taken care, so that clarity, conciseness, and unambiguous sentences should be used. There might be cases when only a department of the company is aware of an acronym. Suppose, uh, suppose AKA, also known as, no, and as early as possible. So as ASAP. So these are the abbreviation of as early as possible. And if we use in memorandum, so that's within organization, we are we have understanding, we know that the full form of abbreviation, because it's very common. For example, I teach in St. Paul College, and in our college short name is SPIPS. So we used to talk SPIPS, it happens in SPIPS. We have one meeting that is called EVPM, evaluation and planning meeting. So we used to speak EVPM, but news the faculty cannot understand, and outsiders don't know what's the meaning of this acronym, and that is why under such cases we should use full form for appropriate communication. So for every communication we should avoid acronym or short terms, short names, right? And abbreviation, and no abbreviation and acronym should be used. Reason is that we are familiar, but it's not necessary that others are familiar. It creates again ambiguity or confusion, and that is why it is better not to use, because it leads confusion. Okay, so orientation of the audience is very important, we should know. Okay, now professional tone. A memo speaks volumes, representing a part of the organization, right? So memo speaks volumes, right? And it representing a part of organization, so it is written on the behalf of organization, right? And this makes it vital to take note of how you communicate with one and all, how one can communicate to all, right? So that profession, in other words, simple words, we can say that we have to be very much professional when we write memorandum, right? Okay, now what about subject? A special emphasis is to be laid on the subject line. Make it clear and concise. In case of any specific event or occasion, ensure that its name is added in the subject line. So that's a special emphasis is to be laid on the subject line. So subject we have already discussed, but subject line must be very clear and concise, because in case of any specific event or occasion, ensure that the name is added in the subject line. So that name and everything should be very clear. Subject line must be very clear. Okay, now what are the format? So, and okay, direct format, make it direct. Another element is that's effective memo, uh, for making memo effectively. So that is next is direct format. Make it direct. You cannot be passive about the declaring any information. So that is, we should be direct, and we should be very much active when we declaring any information, when we giving any information. Keep the information related to the topic. So we should always give the information about related topic. No irrelevant talk should be mentioned, irrelevant things should be mentioned. Objectivity, without any personal bias, that is not subjective, not I first point of view, but objective you. Make the memo objective. Place the facts right away without any addition or subtraction, right? Or subjective information. Don't think for yourself, don't think for adding something, no chance of editing. We have to be very much honest, without personal bias. Objective memo should be written, right? Now, what are the types of memos? Types of memos, there are the four types of memos. Directive memo, it includes stating a policy or propaganda that all people need to follow. For example, the announcement of a new policy. Today only in the morning assembly, some new policies were announced. So that is the directive memo, because it includes stating a policy or propaganda that all people need to follow. So suppose there is new norms and then all faculty members need to follow. So that is called directive memo, because one memo is released in which these kind of topics, subject, headline, everything is given, and we have to, it's a kind of new announcement of new policy, and we have to follow it. So that is called directive memo. Now number two, trip report memo. Trip report, after the return of the employee from a business venture, the trip report is forwarded to a supervisor for checking and validation of the details. So suppose there is a business tour, and then when you return back, so then after the return of employees, so then when you return and you join the office, so that's a that is the report. Trip report is forwarded to a supervisor. So you just have to write one report which is to be forwarded to the supervisor. Why? Because you are talking about the checking and validation of the you are giving the details or outcomes of the trip, right? Now third one is response report. It provides the audience with all the necessary information they require and expect. So here response report is all the necessary information we they require and expect. So that is it provides the audience with all the necessary information. Suppose the being an audience or reader, or being a being what we can say that part of the institution, I should know about particular particular things which are going to be done. So that is, then it is written response report. It mainly includes four parts: purpose statement, so what's the purpose, why it is being served; summary, discussion and action. And then what's the summary, what happened, what is going to be done, and then discussion, and then after discussion what action can be taken, that is called response report. Last one is field report memo. These often include reports of fields or labs. This type of memo includes the following details: purpose, summary, problem, methods, result and conclusion. And then finally, what's the conclusion? So that's a field report. Suppose you are going outside and then you did one survey or something. So then you have to write the memo, which is called field report memo. So and that is something I try to explain memo. And today we have seen that memo is the written communication first of all, and then uh, uh, that is that is itself to deliver information for mass, right? And that is why somewhere it is there, that is written for fit for all or fit for everyone, something like. And it is the reminder or highlighting the event or purpose, so that's the main purpose. And then every part of memorandum format is justifiable reason, no loose statement, unnecessary information should not be given, very crisp, tight, and very to the point is written in the memorandum, totally formal, right? And then parts of memorandum is heading, recipient, and then writer. So first we have to write heading, that's a memo, and then recipient, to whom you are addressed, that is recipient, then writer your name, and then additional receipts. I gave you example. Suppose memo is written for department of commerce, but uh, information is given to department of humanities also, because the department, humanities department means Hindi, English, and other teachers, and they used to teach in different class, even in commerce class. So that is why they may be the part of that particular event which is going to be done. So that is why they are also informing, that is called that's a part of additional receipts. Then date is necessary part of each and every document. Then subject line, which highlights the purpose or intention. And then main body, that which gives all WH questions answer, why, where, when, whom, and that it will take complete shape. And finally, when we do this, then we have to uh, proofread and proofread again and again, editing, and then we should send the memo. Effective, as far as effective memorandum, how it can be written, so that's the orientation. First we have to know about the audience, what kind of audience, and what kind of language can be used. It should be very clear, concise, and to the point. So that is orientation of audience. Then professional, thoroughly professional. We should not be friendly or something, and nearness should not be reflected from the memo. So that is thoroughly professional tone. And then subject should be mentioned, and direct format, instead of saying indirect, we should not, you cannot be passive about declaring any information. So we have to be very much active, and then only we can write it. And objectivity, and we should not give our opinion, our personal, instead of subjectivity we should be very much object, right? Now last part, how many types of memorandum? Here we have seen four types of memorandum. Directive memorandum, which is exclusively written for the new policy or something to be followed. That is the intention of directive memo. Then trip report memo. Suppose one person, two-person, one group has gone for business purposes, and when he is coming back, so then they would report, and they would write one memo in which each and every facts and purpose of business, and then that should be checked, and validation of all this. In other words, they have to mention all the details, right? So that is next. Then response report. Response report is, that's a uh, what we can say, that it provides the audience to all the necessary information they require and expect. So what kind of experience, what kind of information we require. So that is, in this situation we write a report, response report, right? And these are the purpose statement, summary, discussion, action should be. Last one is, that's a report memo. And then we field report or a lab report, right? That is also called field report memo, and that's a purpose, summary, and problem methods, result and conclusion is the part of field report memo. So that is called memorandum. And finally here I'm winding up. Thank you so much. God bless you.